Good afternoon. Vice President Sara Duterte shows up alone at the House Appropriations Committee hearing on her office's 2026 budget after skipping the deliberations last week. Duterte was seen sitting alone in the row for office of the Vice President officials, entering the hall at 9:17 a.m. on Tuesday, September 16. OVP officials did not attend the budget deliberations on Friday, September 12. OVP budget sponsor Jose Alvarez had advised Duterte staffers to skip the hearing as the office indicated an assistant secretary would be present to defend their budget. But Alvarez explained that only the head of an agency or an undersecretary level official can defend the budget. Meanwhile, Duterte waives parliamentary courtesy to answer questions from the minority lawmakers. ACT Teachers Party List Representative Antonio Tino then raises questions regarding low obligation rates and the disallowed OVP confidential funds. Parliamentary courtesy has been a hot topic since Friday when the OVP budget was supposed to be discussed. Through Senior Deputy Majority Leader Edgar Arice, the minority joined the majority in vowing to maintain this tradition for high-ranking officials. However, Tino objected, saying that while it was tradition, current times call for the waiving of parliamentary courtesy. Davao City 3rd District Representative Isidro Ungab then explained it is awkward for lawmakers to raise questions to higher-ranked officials from the government, like the President or the Vice President. Ungab reiterates this stance during Tuesday's hearing. But Alvarez notes the minority requested only 2 interpellators, and it was up to the Vice President whether to answer or not.
Yes, we have discussed last Friday to afford the second highest position of the land, parliamentary courtesy. But at the request of the minority, they just want to ask, two of the minority members just want to ask questions, and it is the prerogative of the Madam Vice President to answer or not.
Yes, I waive the privilege.
Waive?
Yes.
Foreign Affairs Secretary Maria Teresa Lazaro will lead the Philippine delegation to the United Nations General Assembly as President Bongbong Marcos will skip this year's affair. In a statement on Tuesday, September 16, the Department of Foreign Affairs says it will reaffirm the Philippines' commitment to multilateralism and a rules-based order at the Assembly. According to the DFA, the event will be held at New York in the U.S. from September 21 to 27. The DFA says Lazaro is set to engage in high-level discussions on critical issues, including artificial intelligence, climate financing, migration, biodiversity, and maritime security. The agency adds that she will meet with foreign ministers to strengthen bilateral and multilateral ties, promote Philippine interests, and advance national priorities. The Philippine delegation will also seek to ramp up efforts to pursue the country's bid for a non-permanent membership in the United Nations Security Council for the term 2027 to 2028. The Presidential Communications Office earlier announced Marcos delegated his engagements at the UN General Assembly to allow him to focus on local issues. This comes amid his administration's ongoing investigation into the alleged corruption in flood control and other infrastructure projects in the country. An organizer says the September 21 anti-corruption rallies in Metro Manila are not aimed at bringing back former President Rodrigo Duterte or destabilizing the government. In a press conference, Father Alberto Delvo from the Manila Archdiocesan Parochial Schools Association was asked about reports that the rallies will also call for Duterte's return to the country. Delvo clarifies that the protests are about the fight against corruption and not related to Duterte's detention by the International Criminal Court in The Hague, Netherlands. Duterte is currently facing crimes against humanity cases over his administration's war on drugs. Delvo also points out that the demonstrations are not about overthrowing President Bongbong Marcos. The priest then praises Marcos's directive to go after anomalies sounding flood control projects. Several church leaders, educational institutions, and civil society organizations will stage 2 separate rallies on September 21. One will be held at Rizal Park at 9 a.m., while the other will be held at the People Power Monument at 2 p.m. The conveners highlight the calls for accountability of corrupt politicians, disclosure of statements of assets, liabilities, and network, and the signing of bank secrecy waivers of all government officials. When asked why 2 rallies will be conducted separately in 2 locations in Metro Manila, Trillion Peso March spokesperson Kiko Aquino D emphasizes the convenience of those who are planning to join the activities. He notes that the groups decided to converge at the People Power Monument. September 21 also marks the anniversary of former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr.'s declaration of martial law in the country. And these are the stories you need to know today. I'm Neil Mercado. Follow INQUIRER.net on Facebook, X, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and Reddit. For more stories, visit INQUIRER.net. Good afternoon.